Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Danny. Welcome back to another video. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I want to talk about the 3 resources that I would highly recommend to anybody aspiring to become a data scientist or machine learning engineer. Now, in particular, these 3 resources are resources that I leveraged when I self-taught myself the areas of data science and machine learning, because quite frankly, I didn't go to school to become a data scientist. I majored in math, and as I was graduating, my university had, I think, just come out with a specific data science major. So for those of you who are thinking about pursuing a data science career or a career in the machine learning realm, these are the 3 resources that I would highly recommend, and almost should say that they should be a requirement for you to take if you want to self-teach yourself and break into this field. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the first resource that I definitely thought was the most helpful in my pursuit of a career in data science was the website DataQuest. Now, I believe their URL is dataquest.io, and essentially what DataQuest offers are several quote-unquote career skill paths that you can take that will inevitably teach you the skill requirements to land a role within that field. So I believe that they have a data analyst skill career path, a data science skill career path. They might even have a machine learning specific career path, or I think at the time that I had taken it, they sort of wrapped that together within the data science career path certification. Now, the reason why I loved and absolutely adored this program was because of the project-based framework that they used. You see, a lot of other boot camps out there will just have you solve a bunch of sort of one-off questions or answer a question programmatically at the end of a video. But what I loved about DataQuest so much is that they provided their very own data sets for you just to literally play around with. And the sort of capstone project at the end of each module was literally how to build a machine learning algorithm, or how to analyze a data set to come up with certain insights, and in some cases even visualize the data. So it was absolutely fantastic, not only just because of the sort of creativity that it sort of drew out of you naturally, but also because a lot of these projects, you could literally just put them up on your project portfolio, because it was something that you literally put together and applied the concepts that you had learned going through that course. Now, what I also really loved about it was just the fact how it built one module on top of each other. So even if you had never touched a programming language like Python before, you could start the very first lesson and learn all the basics of the syntax, data types, variables, things of that nature, and literally build all the way up to the point of building neural networks for classification purposes, for example. So highly recommend this resource. Again, what I also loved the most about it was the inbuilt terminal. Now, a caveat here, a lot of times the inbuilt terminal would crash, and like sometimes just it was borderline unusable, so you couldn't get past the lesson because it would take forever to submit and validate that you had come up with the right answer. But at the times that it actually was working, it was a fantastic tool to be able to really ingrain those concepts into your mind. So I believe the price point starts off at something like $50 or $60 per month. I think they also have a lifetime access plan that you could pay like $400 for. So depending on how long you think you're going to be in the program, that might make more sense for you financially. Whatever price plan you choose, I would highly recommend just jumping in with both feet into this resource. Now, the second website / bootcamp, I guess you could say, that is out there that I felt actually did provide me some value in one of my prior roles was the website DataCamp. Now, indeed, very similar to the DataQuest domain. However, DataCamp takes a slightly different angle, coming at things from more a data analyst and borderline statistical modeler perspective, as opposed to a pure data science and machine learning engineer perspective. What I also really liked about DataCamp that was differentiated from DataQuest is DataQuest had no video lecture component. It was just simply a slide of text on one half of the screen and an inbuilt terminal on the other for you to play around with. DataCamp, on the other hand, actually has within each lesson of each module a data professional, or a professional in the field that you are learning the skill about. And so if you're a auditory / visual learner, I would highly recommend DataCamp probably over DataQuest, simply because it's going to be an easier way for you to learn by having someone actually speak and show you the concepts that you are going to be covering in the course. Similar to DataQuest, it actually does also offer an inbuilt terminal, and what I maybe didn't like necessarily as much about it was just the fact that there weren't really too many projects that you could work on at the end of each module. Now, if I recall, it's been a while since I've been through the program. There might be projects like just one-off things you could take on there to be able to come up with something in a Jupyter Notebook, for example, to post to your portfolio, but it's not the exact same project-based framework structure that you're going to find on DataQuest. But the inbuilt terminal does still guarantee, or at least provide you the ability to really ingrain these concepts within your mind as you're progressing through the entirety of the program. I also felt like DataCamp offered a variety of different paths, right? You didn't just have one for data analysis, data science, and like a Power BI analyst. You actually had several different ones that I had no idea even existed until I had gone on to DataCamp. For example, you could take a course on time series forecasting. You could take a course on econometrics. You could take a course on some college level / graduate level statistics. And so the variety that is offered by DataCamp in terms of its overall scope of lectures was far beyond, in my opinion, that of DataQuest. But if you're specifically focusing on data science, DataQuest might have the edge in terms of its program, but DataQuest is still a very, very good option. Now, in terms of pricing, I believe they are fairly similar. I'll go ahead and throw up a screenshot now, or a screen recording of what are the pricing plans for DataCamp as opposed to DataQuest. But because everyone sort of has to be competitive in this sort of space, the price points shouldn't be that much different. So ultimately it comes down to, what are you interested in learning? And I would also say, how do you learn? Are you a more audio and visual learner, or can you actually get by teaching yourself just by simply reading a half of the screen and practicing on the inbuilt terminal on the other half of the screen? So it's really ultimately up to you to decide. Now, the final resource that I found to be extremely helpful in my journey into the data science realm was the website Coursera. Now, I would like to put a caveat here. Coursera and I sort of have a love-hate relationship. Coursera was actually the first platform that I ever used when I was teaching myself after I graduated college how to code, along with the concepts that you are going to need within the machine learning field. But it wasn't until I had come across some of these other resources like DataQuest and DataCamp that I really started to kind of realize the shortcomings of Coursera and other offerings of MOOCs. I can't exactly remember what the acronym is, but something like Massive Online Participation Courses. I know that's not the acronym, but it's something along those lines. And I really did see the shortcomings and the glaring shortcomings at that from taking other boot camps like DataCamp and DataQuest. But that being said, I still think Coursera does provide value in certain contexts. In particular, I would highly recommend the machine learning module offered, I believe at this point, by Stanford and taught by Andrew No, I think is his name. I'm butchering it. His last name is literally spelled the letters N and G. Absolute professional in the space, and I believe he actually was the co-founder of Coursera, oddly enough. But back in the day, he had a sort of introductory to machine learning module that really sort of caused me to fall in love with this field as I was sort of parsing through what did I want to do with my career post graduation. It was very much akin to more of a college style lecture, hence why Coursera offers courses and lectures by universities. You can even get full-on degrees through Coursera, accredited degrees from accredited institutions. And so if you feel more comfortable operating in a sort of classroom setting in a more academic environment, then I would highly recommend Coursera as your avenue of study. Now, when it comes to the overall pricing, Coursera, I believe at this point, has this option called Coursera Plus, where you can like enroll in as many different modules as you want to concurrently. However, it is going to take you a while to get through any of these programs, arguably a little bit longer, and maybe even much longer in certain circumstances, than it would take for you to get through a bootcamp on DataCamp or DataQuest, for example. So you, in the end, probably will, per module you take, be spending at least 4 to 6, sometimes even 10 months trying to get a certificate from one of these courses. I also find that depending on the course you take, the modules and the material can be somewhat outdated. Also, you are ultimately stuck if you have a question with resorting to frequently asked question forums, because there's no actual live professor here, and the ones who created the project are virtually unreachable if they even still work at the institution that you are earning the certificate through. This being because some of the videos are like 10 years old at this point. So I would really wish Coursera might go through some of the more popular lectures and offerings to be able to contact the people who created them to say, hey, maybe you should update this material to reflect at least the video quality of 2025. So all that being said, while Coursera definitely is, in my opinion, not the best resource out there, it is still a resource, and it is still one that really did truly help me master the data science skill set as well as break into the industry. However, if you are looking to get a degree in data science or machine learning or something of that nature, there are actual programs on Coursera that will allow you to get like a master's, full-on master's degree. Like you will actually take the class through the university, but use Coursera as the sort of asynchronous online component of it. I know I was thinking about doing that with the University of Colorado Boulder data science masters, and I got through some of it before I realized that, you know, I actually want to go into the career field and make some money now. But if that is something you guys are interested in, I would highly recommend checking that out. The pricing actually isn't that bad compared to other, you know, more prestigious institutions out there in terms of what they charge in tuition. But in the end of the day, you're going to get a great education if you do decide to go through there. It's just going to cost you a bit more money than going the self-taught route by taking something like a boot camp on DataQuest or DataCamp. And so there you have it, you guys. The 3 resources that helped me the most when I was first starting to break into the data science field, namely DataCamp, DataQuest, and Coursera. Out of the 3, if I had to recommend any right off the drop to anyone who is interested in pursuing a career in one of these fields, I would recommend DataQuest. I feel like it's affordable. I feel like the project-based framework really does help you learn things a bit faster. But DataCamp is a close second, with Coursera probably being the not least helpful, but my third, I would say, and least favorite out of those 3. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're also interested in pursuing a career in data science or machine learning, I also do offer my own online education platform where not only do I teach you the basics of the Python programming language, but I also use a mentor-led framework to help walk you through not only what you should be learning, but also to help keep you accountable, as well as to help you navigate the job hunt in landing one of these entry-level developers roles. And I'll link that at the top of the description down below. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.